Song Yi traveled through a female frequency novel called Petting and Charming the World. All kinds of martial arts and techniques are mastered with just one click, and various abilities are mastered as soon as one learns them. It can be said that one's intelligence is against the sky. He is the designated successor of Langya Road. He is the last cornerstone of the empire. He drew his sword and asked the blue sky, "The way of heaven has come." As for the female lead, horizontal or vertical push. Cough. Chapter 1. Crossing the World of Female Frequency. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Qin Dynasty, Linjiang Prefecture. A bamboo pavilion. Song Yi lazily opened his eyes and looked at the already rising sun. The sun was like fire, and thousands of golden lights scattered in the bamboo forest, making Song Yi feel a bit dizzy. In that moment, he felt like he was now in the childhood courtyard in his memory. But the Jingyun long shirt he was wearing reminded him that this was not a childhood courtyard. This is the mansion of Song Qingxue, the magistrate of Linjiang Prefecture, and I am Song Yi, the youngest son of Song Qingxue. Yes, he is not a person from this world, he is a traveler. And this world is a world of female novels. A novel called Petting and Charming the World. As a social animal, his biggest hobby is reading online novels, and he is a seasoned bookworm. However, in recent years, there has been a serious homogenization of online literature, making it difficult to find exciting and beautiful novels. In the midst of boredom, he started reading female novels. At first, he didn't adapt, but gradually he became interested in watching it. After scrolling through the novel, Enchanting the World, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. One day, while reading a novel, he was crossing the street when he was hit and killed by a speeding sports car. This, Petting and Charming the World, is a fictional historical novel, and it is also the type with a martial arts cultivation system. The main plot of the novel is to write a story about a general named Qingxue, who steps towards the peak of power step by step. Like most female novels, this Qingxue not only has beauty, but also many blue confidants. What is the first man who likes to ignore cold faces? What is the second man who is obsessed with making a city out of his hands? What is the third man who is a childhood sweetheart who doesn't seek fame? And what is the fourth man who can even fall in love with deep hatred? In short, as long as she is in trouble, various heavenly beauties will appear around her to help her solve problems. It is precisely because of the help of these people that she was able to reach the pinnacle of power. In the book, Song Yi is a supporting role. He is a small character who doesn't even count as Qingxue's blue confidant. The entire novel is over 1 million words long, and Song Yi appears in less than 10 chapters. However, his name is often mentioned by the female protagonist. The reason behind this is that Song Yi and Qingxue had a marriage engagement. However, his fiancée was divorced by Qingxue shortly after the beginning of the novel. After retiring, the two became strangers. But because of this connection, Song Yi was held in grudge by Qingxue's group of blue-faced confidants. Moreover, during the death of the monarch of the Great Qin Dynasty and the chaos in the world, Song Yi was also killed by one of Qingxue's blue confidants. Even his family was not spared. When Song Yi read the novel, he felt a bit unhappy with the ending of the original owner. Isn't this a pure and innocent disaster? And now that I am Song Yi, if I continue with the original plot, I estimate there will also be a fatal accident. But it's okay. At present, I am only 14 years old and have not yet made an engagement with my female client, Qingxue. As long as you don't have any interaction with the female lead, you can change the plot and avoid being targeted by her blue-faced confidants. Not only that. I died too hastily in my previous life, but now I am living a new life, and it is still a chaotic time. I naturally want to stand out and become a resounding hero in this chaotic world. After pondering, Song Yi stretched lazily and looked at the maid standing next to him, asking, "Man Shu, what time is it now?" The maid who was questioned by Song Yi looked a little younger than Song Yi's age, with a pink face and a very cute appearance. She was wearing a small green skirt, appearing small and delicate, and slowly shaking a fan in her hand. "It's time, young master." Manchu answered softly. "It's already time. It's time for lunch." Song Yi patted his mouth. "Manchu, pack your things, let's go to Tsueyin Tower." "Ah." Upon hearing this, Manchu's face tightened and he weakly lowered his head, saying, "Young master, autumn is approaching. You really can't stop going to that place. And the master has already given me an ultimatum, saying that if you go to that place again, Manchu will be beaten to death by the master's club. You girl." Song Yi glared at Manchu and said, "Are you my servant or my father's servant? Do you listen to me or my father?" I. Song Yi's question stumped Manchu. After stuttering for a while, she looked up at Song Yi with tearful eyes and said, "Young master, Manchu doesn't understand." "Don't understand what?" "The young master before was devoted to learning and only had sages in his heart, but since you recovered from your serious illness 2 months ago, he has been going to the land of willows day and night, completely neglecting his knowledge." Manchu felt. "What do you think?" "I don't think the young master is a young master that Manchu knows. The young master seems to have changed a person." Cough. Song Yi coughed lightly and thought to himself, "You're really right, little girl. I'm not the young master you know anymore." As for what this little girl said about going to the land of smoke and willows day and night, she did not wrongly accuse herself. I did indeed do it that way. Of course, there are naturally reasons for doing so. In the book, the reason why the female client Qingxue married Song Yi is only one, and that is because Song Yi is excellent enough. Firstly, he is the son of the magistrate of Linjiang. Linjiang Prefecture is the wealthiest place in Daqin, and the prefect Song Qingxue is also a famous good official in Daqin, known as the Iron Blood Prefect. As the son of Song Qingxue, he naturally cannot be inferior. Song Yi ranked first in the child test at the age of 8, and first in the hospital test at the age of 11. He was also known as the Qin. He is known as a young genius of the great Qin kingdom, who has never been seen before or after. Now that he is 14 years old, the whole Qin family is waiting for his results in the autumn competition. Since it's because of excellence that we got married, as long as we turn ourselves into a playboy, a useless thing, and a ghost in the midst of lust, then the Gu family probably won't let Gu Qingxue get married to us. Do I have to go out? Song Yi asked. Then Manjushri can only. Manchu took a deep breath, flipped her palm, and held a particularly exquisite-looking small knife in her hand. However, she did not turn the knife towards Song Yi, but aimed it at her own neck. If the young master insists on going to that place, then step over Manjushri's body. The sword shone with a chilling aura, pressing against the fair neck. Manchu is not joking. Manchu, are you threatening me? Song Yi lowered his eyebrows. Manchu's eyes were shrouded in mist, and he shook his head gently. Manchu didn't dare to threaten the young master. Manchu just didn't want the young master to fall down like this again. Manchu. Song Yi scratched his head and finally sighed weakly, "It's okay, young master. I won't go, can't I? You quickly put away this broken knife, don't hurt yourself. Okay. Thank you, young master, for not making things difficult for Manchu anymore." Upon hearing Song Yi's words, Manchu's face showed a smile again and he also put down the small knife in his hand. Just as Manjushri withdrew his sword, a handful of dust was scattered by Song Yi. Dust rushed towards Manchu, and with just a few breaths, Manchu was heavy and unsteady. "Young master, you." Hee. Song Yi grinned and stood up to support Manchu. After settling him in his rocking chair, he said, "Little girl, why don't you sleep well? You don't have to worry about my father's criticism. I'm here." After speaking, he turned around and left the bamboo forest. Chapter 2. I am a Zhou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's not that Song Yifei wants to make things difficult for Manchu. It's just that Song Yi has a reason not to go to Tsueyin Tower today. Because he made an appointment with someone at Tsueyin Building today. About 3 days ago, while strolling through brothels, he met a strange person. This person has a face full of flesh, a pair of blue eyes that are particularly peculiar, forming a sharp contrast with his face like black charcoal. He also holds a black plain knife that is more than 10 feet tall in his hand. At first glance, they are practitioners. And this person's mouth is full of Confucian language, which forms a sharp contrast with his image. This contrast piqued Song Yi's interest. So when he saw that the other party had not paid for the wine and was fighting against the people in the brothel, Song Yi extended a helping hand, helped the other party pay, and lifted the siege. And invited the big man to drink wine. At the dining table, Song Yi learned that the other person's name was Guo Cheng, a member of the Dechen Dongping mansion. The name Guo Cheng did not leave much impression on Song Yi's recollection of the entire novel. Finally, Guo Cheng expressed his appreciation for Song Yi and suggested that Song Yi make a request to him. Song Yi was also not polite and directly instructed Guo Qingxue to cultivate his own path. Because when Guo Cheng fought fiercely with the cultivators in the brothel, he saw that Guo Cheng's strength was extremely profound. As for what realm Song Yi is unknown. Practitioners in this world start from the realm of first understanding, then to perception, then to innate, then to martial freedom, and finally to the realm of spiritual wandering and emptiness. Anyone who enters the realm of spiritual wandering and emptiness can have a lifespan of 300 to 500 years. Although this is a world of imperial power, it also emphasizes the supremacy of strength. If you are a strong person in the realm of divine wandering, you can even surpass the imperial power. Unfortunately, Song Yi is different from other travelers. There are nothing amazing cheats like being able to grow one's cultivation by falling asleep, or being able to get treasures by signing in. The only thing he possesses is intelligence. Reading is unforgettable, understanding is easy, and learning skills is easy. In other words, his intellect is extremely rebellious. But cultivation is different from these ordinary things. To practice, relying solely on comprehension is useless. How to put it, if one compares cultivation to numbers like 1, 2, 3, and 4, then his incredible understanding can indeed make these numbers infinitely magnified. But Song Yi is now a Zhou. Or rather, Song Yi did not have the key to open the door to cultivation. As for the reason, it is natural that the prefect Song Qingxue did not allow Song Yi to practice. Song Qingxue believed that the most suitable path for Song Yi was to enter the court and serve the great Qin. Song Qingxue issued a death order, which was that no practitioner in Linjiang City was allowed to teach Song Yi the path of cultivation. Violators will be severely punished. After crossing over, Song Yi also wanted to secretly cultivate with his incredible insight. But Zhou is Zhou, and no matter how much Zhou is multiplied by, it is still Zhou. It is difficult to get started without proper methods. This is also the reason why Song Yifei made this request to Guo Cheng. After hearing Song Yi's request, Guo Cheng thought for a moment and agreed to meet at Tsueyin Tower in 3 days to test Song Yi before deciding whether to teach him the way to practice. Tsueyin Tower is the largest brothel in Linjiang Prefecture. It is the favorite place for celebrities and children of aristocratic families in Linjiang City. The singer inside can be said to be a masterpiece of the great Qin kingdom. It is said that 10 years ago, when the Grand Prince of Qin passed by Linjiang Prefecture in Jiangnan, he specially came to this Tsueyin Tower to catch a glimpse of his singer's singing voice. As a frequent visitor here, Song Yi was surrounded by a group of women dressed in colorful clothes and heavily make-up as soon as he arrived at Tsueyin Tower. Song Yi was also polite, teasing these women while playing up and down with them. He looked seasoned, but he doesn't look like a 14-year-old child at all. Go, go, go. Everyone, go aside. At this moment, a slightly aged voice came out, and upon hearing this sound, the women surrounding Song Yi immediately dispersed like birds and beasts, leaving one after another. After these women left, a middle-aged woman dressed in splendid attire and looking elegant walked towards Song Yi. This person is the Madam of Tsueyin Tower, with the same surname as the great Qingxue. Both the guests and the girls from Tsueyin Tower call her Chen Mama. I said, Song Gongzi, do you think this Tsueyin Tower belongs to your family? Do you just like coming here? Chen's mother looked at Song Yi with a hint of playfulness in her eyes. Of course I like it. Song Yi grinned and said, the girls in Tsueyin Tower are all like fairies, making people linger and forget to leave. How could they not come? Your mouth is sweet, it's a pity. Chen's mother paused and continued, unfortunately, the magistrate has already issued a notice that I cannot receive you again. If I receive you again, my Tsueyin building will be closed. So, young Master Song, please leave my Tsueyin Tower. Song Yi. He really gave in to his father. Relying on being the governor, one can be lawless, in Linjiang, right? Mom Chen. Song Yi scratched his head, I'm not here to have fun today. I just made an appointment here, so please make it convenient for you. Let me in. Why are you dating someone with me? Chen's mother frowned, Song Gongzi, if you don't go out again, then I'll have to kick you out. After speaking, she waved her hand and in an instant, 3 powerful men appeared in front of Song Yi. At first glance, these people knew they were cultivators, but Song Yi didn't know their true realm. However, just standing in front of him, he felt a bit breathless. However, just as Song Yi was pondering how to stay at the Tsueyin building, he suddenly felt a chill behind him. He quickly turned his head and saw a person wearing black clothes and a bamboo hat, who couldn't see clearly walking down from the 2nd floor of the Tsueyin building. With every step taken, Song Yi felt his breath rush a bit. The foot of the aura is not comparable to the 3 cultivators in front of me. Expert. Song Yi couldn't help but be surprised. This kind of aura has only been seen by Song Yi on his brother Song Zheng. And my brother's current state is innate. That is to say, the other party is at least a master of the same level. After the night man walked down the 1st floor, he raised his hand slightly towards the 3 cultivators in front of Song Yi, and then a terrifying force burst out. 3 practitioners screamed in agony at the same time and then fell to the ground. Dead. All of this happened so quickly that everyone present didn't react. When the reaction came, the entire Tsueyin building immediately became a mess. The screams were incessant in my ears. Run away, run away. Facing this situation, Song Yi was also somewhat stunned. This is not the first time he has seen a dead person in this world, but it is the first time he has seen someone die so quickly. At least the 3 of them are also cultivators. Surprisingly, he was instantly killed by the man in black. However, he currently doesn't have time to think about these things. The other party kills without saying a word, it must be a malicious act. We need to run first before we talk. However, as soon as Song Yigang turned around and wanted to run away, a very gloomy voice came from behind. Young Master Song, don't rush to run. Chapter 3. A Big Bet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing this sound, Song Yi felt his heart skip a beat. Perhaps this is what is written in the novel, which belongs to the oppression of the strong. And listening to the other person's tone, it is obvious that they are coming for themselves. Under this pressure, Song Yi could no longer take another step forward. He took a deep breath, turned around, grinned at the man in black, and asked, "This friend, do I know you?" Song Gongzi naturally doesn't know me, and in fact, I don't know you either. It's just that I heard Chen Mama call out your name, and then I knew it was you. The words of the man in black made Chen's mother's eyebrows and eyes sink. She turned around and stood between the man in black and Song Yi, asking the man in black, "Who are you?" "Me. My surname is Zhou and my name is Feipeng. My name is in your Linjiang prefecture, so some people should know it, right?" Zhao Pengfei. Slash the eyebrows Zhao Pengfei. Of course, Song Yi has heard of this name. Although Linjiang Prefecture is a prosperous place of the Great Qin Kingdom, the country is not peaceful, resulting in serious banditry here. There is plenty of water in Linjiang, and these bandits are hiding in the waterway of Linjiang Prefecture, plundering and slaughtering passers-by, becoming extremely rampant. The prefect Song Qingxue organized his troops several times to eliminate these water bandits. However, the opponent's strength is not bad, coupled with the advantage of the terrain, there is no way to deal with these water thieves. Zhao Pengfei, with this eyebrow slash, is one of the leaders of the water thief. He is a member of the top 10 list of criminals captured in Linjiang Prefecture. So it's you. Knowing the other person's identity, Song Yi was not afraid anymore. He walked up to Zhao Pengfei and hooked his lips, saying, "Zhao Pengfei, I don't know if you're brainless or if you're too arrogant. Expose your identity here, do you think you can still leave Linjiang Prefecture?" "Haha." Zhao Pengfei sneered and took off his hat, revealing a pale face. This face has sharp ears and monkey cheeks, and there is a scar on the left eyebrow that looks like a centipede. In his hand, he also had an extra fine steel blade that was about half a zhang long. There is only one Song Zheng in Linjiang Prefecture who has some strength, and the rest are fish that can be slaughtered by others. But Song Zheng is not here now, why can't I leave? Zhao Pengfei's tone was full of disdain and arrogance. How can you be certain that my brother is not here? At this moment, Song Yi raised the corner of his mouth and said, "Zhao Pengfei, just as you were about to kill those 3 cultivators, I had already passed on a secret message to my brother. Fuyin Mansion is only 2 miles away from the Tsuiyin Tower, and as a master of the innate realm, how long do you think my brother will be able to come over?" The secret technique. Is it? Upon hearing Song Yi's words, Zhao Pengfei's gaze slightly dispersed and he began to contemplate. Zhao Pengfei has also heard of this secret technique of transmitting messages from thousands of miles. But he didn't believe that the kid in front of him, who wasn't even a cultivator, could unleash this kind of secret technique. And in this moment of hesitation, Song Yi flipped his palm and scattered a handful of dust. The scattered dust was immediately blocked by Zhao Pengfei's sword and disappeared. Grass. Seeing his dust blocked, Song Yi's national essence emerged in his heart. This may be the only opportunity for me to turn the tide of the battle. The Grand Prince of the mansion actually used this kind of carving insect technique. Zhao Pengfei was instantly furious when he was ambushed. He saw his body turn around and came to Song Yi's side, with the sharp blade also resting on Song Yi's neck. The sharp blade's cold aura was overwhelming, and Song Yi couldn't help but shudder. A fear of death permeated my heart. However, he quickly suppressed his fear and smiled faintly, saying, "Skills are useless. Who rules that the prince of the mansion cannot use this method? What a skill without class." Zhao Pengfei grabbed Song Yi with his left hand, pulled him in front of him, tied him with a rope, and then rose into the air, flying quickly towards the direction outside the city. "What are you doing? If you want to kill me, just kill me now." Song Yi looked at the rapidly passing house under him, his tone full of urgency. "Don't worry." Zhao Pengfei snorted coldly, "When you leave the city, you will be a dead ghost." Although I don't really believe in Song Yi's secret communication methods, I would rather trust his existence than his absence. If I kill Song Yi now and be stopped by Song Zheng who is rushing to come later, and I have nothing left, then I really can't leave this Linjiang prefecture. But if we keep Song Yi's life now, even if Song Zheng catches up then, I can also use Song Yi as a threat to leave Linjiang prefecture. What Zhao Pengfei didn't know was that the things he was thinking were exactly what Song Zheng wanted him to think. He doesn't even know the secret method or something. So Song Zheng would never come at all. He said that because he was waiting for another person. This person is naturally Guo Cheng, who has an appointment with him. This is a gamble belonging to Song Yi. Because he also didn't know if Guo Cheng would make a move for that little wine money, and if his move could beat Zhao Pengfei. But if you don't gamble like this, then you'll be dead and lifeless. The result proved that Song Yi was right in gambling. Just as Zhao Pengfei was 3 miles away from the city gate, a black aura came from behind and hit Zhao Pengfei hard. Zhao Pengfei was hit hard and fell directly onto the lower street. However, he also reacted quickly. After falling to the ground, he immediately grabbed Song Yi and aimed his sharp blade at Song Yi's neck again. And cautiously looked towards the direction where the black energy just flew out. After a moment, Guo Cheng appeared in Zhao Pengfei's view with his long plain knife. Seeing Guo Cheng, Zhao Pengfei was stunned. Isn't it Song Zheng who came? Who are you? Zhao Pengfei asked. Guo Cheng replied, I'm just passing by. Xiao Sheng. Passing by. Listening to Guo Cheng's answer, Zhao Pengfei's eyebrows formed a straight line horizontally. Since you are a passerby, then live your life well. Zhao Pengfei snorted coldly, then grabbed Song Yi and wanted to leave in the air. Wait a moment, Guo Cheng raised his hand and called out to Zhao Pengfei, saying, Friend, you can leave, but you have to keep the little brother in your hand. Do you want him? Zhao Pengfei squinted, aren't you a passerby? What do you want him to do? Pour a few cups and drink a few sips. Guo Cheng glanced at Song Yi and answered seriously. Drink. Do you know him? What is your relationship with him? Zhao Pengfei's eyes flashed with a hint of vigilance. First ripe. First-time acquaintance. Then this matter has nothing to do with you. I advise you not to get involved in it and leave quickly. I can't leave at all. Guo Cheng smiled brightly and walked step by step towards Zhao Pengfei. Chapter 4. Apprenticeship to Langya Road. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Faced with Guo Cheng tightly pressing each other, Zhao Pengfei couldn't help but furrow his brow. In the depths of my heart, a hint of shyness arose. This is a feeling he has never had before. Not good. Zhao Pengfei's mind reached this point, and he quickly activated his energy, wanting to escape unscathed. I don't know what's going on, his energy is so free that he can't concentrate or even take off. He instinctively touched the place where he had just been attacked by the opponent, feeling a hint of shock in his heart. He quickly hooked his hands into claws and grabbed Song Yi's neck, shouting, If you take another step, I'll twist this kid's neck. Friend, you can do this. After all, this little friend and I are just the beginning, so we don't care about his life or death. Guo Cheng smiled calmly and then said, But after you twist this little friend's neck, it also signifies the end of your life. The tone is plain, but the deceitful meaning is like a huge wave. After hearing Guo Cheng's words, the slight comfort in Zhao Pengfei's heart disappeared and he burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, I can also be considered a crazy person. I didn't expect to meet someone even crazier than me today. When I see your breath, it's just a realm of heaven and man, you. Why do you think you can kill me? People are black charcoal, strong and physically strong. The knife is simple and heavy. He is indeed a formidable opponent. But for people from the same innate realm, Zhao Pengfei felt that even if he couldn't defeat the opponent, he wouldn't be killed by them. Song Yi, who was tightly bound by Guo Pengfei, did not feel that Guo Cheng was arrogant. Although we only have a chance encounter with each other. But Song Yi knew that the biggest characteristic of Guo Cheng was his reality. 1 is 1, and 2 is 2. Now that he says he can kill Guo Pengfei, then he can definitely kill him. In Buddhist terms, Guo Cheng never lies. Faced with Zhao Pengfei's unrestrained smile, Guo Cheng's face was like a calm lake. He raised the simple knife in his hand and said, You can use this simple knife in my hand, just one knife. Puff. Zhao Pengfei chuckled and said, "Black charcoal, do you know your mother is so crazy? According to your statement, your innate realm is invincible, right? My mother passed away early, but she was aware of the character of the Saga family." Guo Qing answered seriously, "As for the statement that the innate realm is invincible, the Saga family cannot agree with it. The world is vast, and there are too many talented people and different scholars. I have heard of using the strength of the innate realm to defeat Wu Zi. If the Saga family encounters such a fierce person, they will only have to run away. And that's enough." Zhao Pengfei interrupted Guo Cheng's words impatiently and said, "Today, I'm unlucky to have met you with such a dark face. I want to see how you can chop me to death with a knife." As he spoke, he threw away Song Yi, who was getting in the way, and opened his posture, his body full of energy. The energy suddenly spread throughout. The strong aura made Song Yi unable to open his eyes. But he still tried hard to open his eyes. He had never seen the battle in the innate realm. This is a rare opportunity. Facing the majestic Zhao Pengfei, Guo Cheng remained calm and said, "This friend, do you really want to die under my simple sword? Do you want to think about it again? Life is precious, and you are not young, but you are already born with a bright future. It would be a pity if you were to be chopped down by the samurai like this." "Stop," his mother talking. Zhao Pengfei spat and cursed loudly. "I thought very well. Today, I want you to see and see. Why is my name called One Eyebrow /. As he spoke, he swung his sharp steel blade, rolled up countless energies, and charged towards Guo Cheng. The air is pressing down on the houses on both sides of the street, making a creaking sound as if they are about to collapse. The momentum is not inferior to a rainbow. The strong wind breaks. With a loud roar, Zhao Pengfei's body was like a sharp sword, mixed with countless energies, charging towards Guo Cheng. Wherever they passed, all the houses turned into powder. On the other hand, as Guo Cheng looked at the fierce Guo Pengfei, his aura did not change, let alone any vitality. At this moment, he shifted his gaze to Song Yi and said, "Little brother, don't you want to cultivate? Then, please see how I use my simple sword." After speaking, he lifted his simple knife in his hand and swept in the direction of Guo Pengfei. After sweeping over, the imposing figure of Guo Pengfei came to a sudden halt. With a click, his body broke off from his waist and became two pieces. "I'm dying." This. Song Yi couldn't even believe his own eyes. The master of the heavenly innate realm, is that all? Has he died so badly? Just a knife. Although Guo Cheng just said that he only needs to wave a knife to solve Zhao Pengfei, when the fact is presented, it is still shocking. In addition to being shocked, Song Yi's heart was filled with great joy. "I found a treasure myself." At this moment, Guo Cheng had already collected his knife and walked towards Song Yi. He untied the rope on Song Yi's body and asked seriously, "Little friend, did you just see how I used my simple knife?" "I can tell a little bit of the trick," Song Yi thought for a moment and replied, "Sir, it seems like he compressed all the energy in his body into a little bit and then released it with a simple knife, which had a fatal effect." Although Song Yi did not understand the path of cultivation, the underlying principles could still be seen through his astonishing insight. Upon hearing this, Guo Cheng's calm expression finally revealed surprise. He looked at Song Yi for a long time before he burst out laughing and said, "Ha ha ha, not bad, not bad. You are also considered to have exceptional talent, little friend. You disciple, take it easy. Master." Song Yi also understood very well and immediately knelt down to salute. "Don't rush to call master yet." But at this moment, Guo Cheng pulled Song Yi up and said, "Before starting my apprenticeship, I have to ask you a question. You must answer truthfully." "Okay." Song Yi nodded repeatedly, an uncontrollable smile floating on his face. "Firstly, I would like to ask you, why do you want to embark on the path of cultivation? For the sake of fame and fortune? For the sake of being a strong person. Or for the sake of fighting on the battlefield and becoming the mighty lord of the world. Or for the sake of coveting the non-existent heavenly way. None of them are. Song Yi shook his head and said, the reason why I practice is very simple, just to have the ability to protect myself in this chaotic world. This answer is pretty good. In times of chaos, people's lives are like grass, and we do need the ability to protect ourselves. Guo Cheng nodded slightly and said, previously, I only told you that I was from Dongping Prefecture, but I didn't tell you specifically where I was. Now that I want to take you as an apprentice, I naturally have to inform you of the information of the Sa family one by one. Listen carefully, disciple. The sage comes from Langya Road in Dongping Prefecture and is the leader of Shinmu Peak, a subordinate of Langya Road. After you worship me as your teacher, you will become a person of Langya Road. Chapter 5. Female Customer Qingxue. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Langya Road. After hearing these words, Song Yi's heart surged with turmoil. He naturally knows about Langya Road. In the book, Petting and Charming the World, Langya Dao is an existence that can almost control the court. There is even a saying that one can conquer the world by obtaining the Langya Road. The reason why the female customer Qingxue was able to win and become an empress in the turbulent times is largely due to her support from the Langya Road. And because the power of Langya Road is great, there are basically no people in Langya Road who dare to provoke. Now that I have become a member of Langya Road will naturally support me. My own life also has an additional guarantee. At this moment, Guo Cheng flipped his palm and a thin book, a jade pendant, and a simple knife appeared in his hand. And introduced Song Yi one by one. This book is called The Beginner of Practitioners and contains some of my recorded spiritual insights. It can help you open the door to practitioners, including some techniques. However, this beginner of practitioners also has limitations and can only help you reach the realm of perception. The jade pendant can be considered a token. Once you reach the realm of perception, you can bring this jade pendant to Langya Road to find me. If it's just a simple sword, it's just a simple sword. A sword is a killing thing, and after becoming a practitioner, one naturally wants to kill. However, I hope you use this sword with caution. Human life is fragile, and death is truly death. After introducing these three things, Guo Cheng handed them over to Song Yi. Song Yi took these three things and bowed solemnly to Guo Cheng, thank you, master. I have taken note. Just take note of it. Guo Cheng looked pleased and said, although I didn't achieve what I wanted on this trip to Linjiang, it was fortunate to have you as a talented disciple. You should practice well, and I believe with your talent, we, the master and disciple, will soon meet again. After speaking, he turned around and rose into the air, stepping into the air and leaving. Song Yi looked at Guo Cheng's back, his eyes flickering. Finally, he solemnly bowed to the figure and said, Master, please walk slowly. I will definitely practice to the realm of perception at the fastest speed. At the same time. The entrance of the auxiliary city to the north of Linjiang Prefecture. Song Qingxue stood in front of the city gate, dressed in a red official robe. Behind him followed a group of officials at all levels dressed in blue or black official uniforms. Song Qingxue rubbed his thick beard with his right hand, while his eyes stared tightly ahead. The gaze flickered, as if there were some thoughts. At this moment, a young man wearing silver armor rode a large horse and appeared in Song Qingxue's field of vision. After dismounting, the man strode towards Song Qingxue and bowed to him, saying, Father, you guessed it right. General Gu has indeed come to our Linjiang Prefecture. Are you here? Upon hearing this, Song Qingxue suddenly opened his eyes and asked, Where have you been? General Gu is light and easy to follow, walking very fast. It is estimated that it will only take half a quarter of an hour to reach our place. Okay, I got it. Song Qingxue took a deep breath and turned his head to look at the officials behind him, ordering, You guys cheer me up. This matter is related to whether the bandits can be eradicated. If anyone falls off the chain, I won't let it go lightly. After waiting for a while, a group of carriages and horses appeared in everyone's sight. The leader is a middle-aged man wearing armor and holding a long spear. The Great Han rode a BMW, standing over 8 feet tall, with red eyebrows and starry eyes, and an extremely majestic face. Beside him, it seemed as if there was black mist entwined, and the evil energy was overwhelming. Next to the big man is a woman wearing a white long skirt. The woman was not big, but her figure was already quite graceful, and her face was exquisitely refined, like condensed fat. The sunlight lay behind her, and her slender eyebrows caught the eye in the light and shadow. Her slender green hair casually drooped on her jade-carved cheeks, only praising her extraordinary beauty. It's not an exaggeration to call it a celestial being. Except for Song Qingxue, everyone present's gaze was focused on this woman. Upon seeing the situation, Song Qingxue quickly coughed lightly twice, pulling everyone's minds back, and then walked towards the group of carriages and horses. And he bowed to the tall horse led by him, saying, "General Gu, come and welcome us from afar. We've all arrived at the city gate, isn't it far enough?" Gu Qingtian chuckled, "Old Song, you and I are brothers who grew up naked together. Don't be polite to me." "No way." Song Qingxue shook his head and said, "General Gu is the Minister of Economy and Strategy, a first-class official, while I, Song Qingxue, am just a fourth-rank prefect, with an orderly hierarchy of status and respect. We cannot lose control of our position. Outdated." Gu Qingtian rolled his eyes and then looked at the person behind Song Qingxue, asking, "Old Song, why haven't you seen that kid from your family? Autumn is coming soon, so my second son has been working very hard lately. It can be said that he has been studying hard all night. At this moment, I think he should be resting. If General Gu wants to see my dog, I can call him to the auxiliary city now. Then you can send someone to call me." Gu Qingtian nodded slightly, his eyes flickering with a hint of urgency. Upon hearing this, Song Qingxue quickly instructed Song Zheng to go. After Song Zheng left, Gu Qingtian narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the woman next to him, saying, "Qingxue, you heard me. The husband I found for you is definitely not bad. He was originally a genius, but he didn't work hard. He is truly a rare talent. Husband." As soon as this statement was made, everyone present couldn't help but be shocked. Song Qingxue asked in confusion, "General Gu, what do you mean by this? Do you really don't understand or pretend not to?" Gu Qingtian snorted lightly, "To be honest, Old Song, the most important thing for me to come to your Linjiang mansion this time is to make your second son and my precious daughter marry by marriage." "Ah." Song Qingxue's eyes flickered as he said, "General Gu, what kind of virtue and ability can our Song family have?" "Can." "Hey. Old Song, your words are too serious." Gu Qingtian interrupted Song Qingxue's words, "You and I have known each other since we were young, and we can be considered a noble family. If our two families can form a marriage relationship, it would be considered a close relationship. This." After some thought, Song Qingxue nodded and said, "Since General Gu said that, then I, Song Qingxue, have agreed to this matter of marriage. Okay, that's settled. From now on, we'll be in-laws." "Okay, in-laws, in-laws." And just as they were having a great conversation, Gu Qingxue, who was standing beside them, spoke leisurely, "Father, before we get married, I want to meet this young genius who has made a big name for Chen." Chapter 6. Beat to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Guocheng left, Song Yi first collected all the things that Guocheng had sent. Then he came to the body of Zhao Pengfei. Thinking about how to deal with this corpse. Zhao Pengfei is one of the leaders of the water thief. If the water thief knows about his death, he will definitely face fierce retaliation from the other party. Can Linjiang Prefecture handle it? At this moment, a person appeared in Song Yi's field of vision. After seeing this person, Song Yi quickly welcomed him and said, "Brother, you've come." Yes, the person who came was Song Yi's elder brother, Song Zheng, who was also the only practitioner of the innate realm in Linjiang Prefecture. "Are you okay? I heard from the people in Suiyin Tower that you were taken away with a slash of the eyebrows." Song Zheng reached out and pulled Song Yi, checking up and down. The expression of worry is overflowing with words. "It's okay." Song Yi's expression was somewhat calm. He had just experienced a life and death disaster, so he still has lingering fear at this moment. "What about the eyebrow slash?" "Dead," Song Yi pointed to Zhao Pengfei's broken body and said. "Dead." Song Zheng looked towards the direction pointed by Song Yi, and his eyes slowly narrowed into a slit. "How did he die?" "Well." Song Yi scratched his head and said, "Just now, after I was captured by Zhao Pengfei, an expert came forward to rescue me and killed Zhao Pengfei." Song Yi did not want to expose Guo Cheng. If my older brother knew he recognized a master, he would definitely be the first to disagree. The elder brother of the original master. How to say it? People are good, but the biggest flaw is that they spoil their original owner too much. Whenever the original owner has a slight headache and fever, he can be half nervous. So he is also the most loyal supporter of not allowing the original master to practice. Moreover, there is no problem with saying so. Guo Cheng is truly a master. However, Song Zheng was skeptical of Song Yi's words. He walked up to Zhao Pengfei's body, bent down to study it, and finally showed a surprised expression, sighing, "What a powerful martial arts technique. Even I couldn't survive under this technique." After sighing, he turned his head to look at Song Yi and asked, "Where is that expert now? Where is he now? Let's go. Have you left?" Song Zheng was a little anxious upon hearing this. How could you let the expert leave? He saved your life, and you don't know the etiquette anymore. You have to bring him home as a guest. "Oh my," Song Yi said as he dug out his ear, "Brother, are you so idle as an expert? I also want to keep him, but he doesn't want to stay." "That's also true." Song Zheng pursed his lips and said, "Forget it, let's leave as soon as the expert leaves. Xiaoyi, you need to come with me to the auxiliary city now." "What are you doing in the auxiliary city?" "There are distinguished guests." "Your esteemed guest. How expensive could it be?" "Commander-in-Chief, First-Class Minister, Meritorious Defender of the Border, Gu Qingtian, General Gu." "What?" Upon hearing this name, Song Yi almost jumped up. Gu Qingtian is too familiar with him. In the novel, this guy, as the protagonist's father, can be said to be a quite important character. "Is it just General Gu?" Song Yi quickly asked. "Not only that." Song Zheng shook his head. "There is also an extremely beautiful woman, the size of you, probably General Gu's daughter." "Get it?" Just from the adjective, beautiful, Song Yi knew that Gu Qingxue had also come. "Are you finally going to see this woman?" This woman, after pondering for a while, he cleared his throat and said to Song Zheng, "Brother, I'm not going to Fucheng." "Are you not going?" Song Zheng widened his eyes and said, "Why don't you go?" "I don't want to go." Song Yi stretched lazily and prepared to leave this place. And the direction he left was exactly the direction where Suiyin Tower was located. "You stop." Song Zheng's voice sank and he said, "What's wrong? Are you still thinking of going to Suiyin Tower?" "Well, I have to go," Song Yi nodded lightly. "You." Song Zheng was so angry that the veins in his neck popped out, and there was a strong energy floating around his body. "Song Yi, you're not young anymore, so you should share some of the burden with your family. Don't really do such a thing that doesn't fit your identity anymore." "Brother." Song Yi looked at Song Zheng, who was so angry, and called out softly, asking, General Gu's squad is returning to the court. We didn't need to pass by our Linjiang mansion, but now he appears here. I think he was invited by his father, right? Song Yi's words surprised Song Zheng, and he took a breath. To be honest, it was indeed a letter from his father inviting him because the water bandits in Linjiang are rampant, relying solely on the strength of the government soldiers cannot completely capture them. Song Yi interrupted Song Zheng's words and said, but if General Gu helps, then the disaster of the water bandits in Linjiang will definitely be eliminated. That's my father's plan, right? You kid. Song Zheng supported his forehead and asked, how did you know all of this? Inferred. What a speculation. Song Zheng was no longer surprised. After all, Song Yi's intelligence was a fact known to the entire Qin dynasty. He continued, since you know the whole story so well, why don't you want to go see General Gu with me? My father should have told you that you had a few encounters with General Gu when you were a child, and he really liked you. If he could see you again, then this matter would be very likely to happen. Sigh. Song Yi let out a long sigh. He already knew that today, which is today, should be the day when he and Gu Qingxue made their engagement. Once the two of them make a marriage agreement, the hardships of themselves and the Song family will also begin on this day. So it is absolutely impossible for oneself to see Gu Qingxue. Brother, you can go directly to your father and tell him that I'm drinking flower wine at Suiyin Tower. You. Song Zheng couldn't believe his ears and said, Song Yi, are you crazy? You're blatantly undermining your father's plan. Aren't you afraid of being beaten to death by his father's club? Beat it to death. Beat it to death. Song Yi shrugged his shoulders and turned away from here. Looking at Song Yi's back, Song Zheng rubbed his brows and shouted, how can I explain to my father when you call me that? Just tell the truth. Chapter 7. Singer Zhou Waner. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Suiyin Tower seems not to have been affected by the recent storm. Still surrounded by warblers and swallows, the spring scenery overflows. When Chen's mother saw Song Yi reappearing in Suiyin building, she felt dizzy. After confirming that the person who came was indeed Song Yi, she was shocked and said, good kid, that frown didn't send your kid to see the king of hell. Mom Chen, you said that. Song Yi grinned and said, do you really want me to go see the king of hell? That's not true either. Chen's mother patted her mouth and said, you are the young master of the magistrate. I don't want anyone to see the king of hell, nor can I expect you to see him. Hee, I said Chen mama, wouldn't you be so cruel? Song Yi raised his hand and touched Chen's mother's arm before heading towards the second floor. After only taking 2 steps, he was stopped by Chen's mother. She rolled up her sleeves, pulled her throat and shouted at Song Yi, I said, young master Song, it's already this moment. Why do you still want to drink flower wine? Do you think you haven't caused enough trouble? Where are we now? Song Yi's face suddenly darkened. Mom Chen, let me put it this way. If you don't let me drink this glass of wine today, you'll be in big trouble. Excuse me. Chen's mother frowned, what trouble? That eyebrow slaying appeared in your Suiyin building. It should be no problem to accuse you of hiding, right? Okay, you kid. Chen's mother glared and said, people say you, Song Yi, are smart. I didn't think you were smart before, but now it seems that you do have 2 talents, just these 2 talents, no. Hee. Song Yi interrupted Chen's mother, if you say that, can I go up to the second floor? Can I still not let you go up? But Song Yi, I'll tell you, after you go up, you're only allowed to drink. If you mess with my girl, I'll still throw you out. Chen's mother said angrily. Okay, I got it. Song Yi readily agreed and quickly ran up to the second floor. There are some theories about the second floor of Suiyin building. Because the singer is the most outstanding in Suiyin building, every room on this second floor has been decorated into one song pool after another. There are also various musical instruments arranged throughout, and as long as a guest requests a song, the musician will enter and accompany the singer. True is a rare enjoyment. The most famous singer in Qingxue Tower is named Zhou Waner. Not only De Chen, but also people from several countries around her have a certain understanding of her. It's just that this singer has a bit of a dragon in her head but not in her tail. During the month of wandering in brothels, she hasn't seen each other before. However, today, Song Yi's luck seems to be particularly good. As soon as I reached the second floor, I heard an extremely melodious song coming from a room. The voice is soft and refreshing, and the melody twists and turns 1,000 times. As a modern person, Song Yi has heard many songs, including popular songs, folk songs, ancient styles, and so on. But he felt that the songs he had listened to before were extremely novel compared to the sound he heard now. Under the attraction of this song, Song Yi walked to the door of the room and looked inside through the doors and windows. I found a woman inside, singing selflessly. She was wearing a fiery red long dress, although her body was not exposed at all, it gave people a heart-stirring feeling. She was just wearing a hat and veil, and couldn't see her face clearly. However, with this figure, I don't expect my face to be much worse. For a moment, Song Yi was somewhat mesmerized by it. At this moment, a little maid wearing a green dress suddenly appeared, blocking the doors and windows, and pouted at Song Yi, "Young master, you can't stay here. Please leave." Looking at the sudden appearance of the little maid, Song Yi couldn't help but smile at the corner of his mouth. He asked, "Why can't I be here? Is there any need to ask?" The little maid rolled her eyes and said, "My young lady is singing in the room, and you haven't spent a penny. This is not for nothing. For nothing." At this point, the little maid's face had already turned red. Looking at the little maid's appearance, Song Yi almost burst out laughing, but he deliberately lowered his eyebrows and asked with a withered expression, "Are you trying to say that I'm wasting my time?" You. Yes, you're just a free prostitute." The little maid was obviously frightened by Song Yi's appearance, and her words stuttered. And after saying this sentence, the body unconsciously took 2 steps back. As she stepped back, her body collided directly with the wooden door, which made a creaking sound. And with this sound, the singing in the room suddenly came to an end. Done. The little maid suddenly fell silent like a cicada, and quickly turned around and knelt at the door. After a few breaths, the door was opened and Zhou Waner stood at the door. She first glanced at Song Yi, then turned to the little girl kneeling on the ground and asked in a slightly stern voice, "Xiaohe, what's going on?" Xiaohe nodded and replied, "Miss, it's Xiaohe who's not good. Xiaohe just wanted to drive away the young master who overheard your singing." Eavesdropping. Upon hearing Xiaohe's words, Zhou Waner then shifted her gaze back to Song Yi. After a brief glance, she asked, "This young master must be a young genius named De Chen, Song Yi, right? Do you know me?" Song Yi was somewhat surprised. "I once went to your mansion to sing a few songs, so I met you. But at that time, you were just a little nanny, and I just don't quite understand why you, the grand prince of the mansion, appeared in this Qingxue Tower. What else can we do here at Qingxue Tower? Of course, it's just listening to music and drinking. Listening to Chu air drinking." Zhou Waner rubbed her eyebrows and asked with some sighs, "Are you really suitable for your young age? Does the magistrate know that you come to such a place? Besides..." Stop it, stop it. "Miss Waner, you have too many questions," Song Yi interrupted Zhou Waner. "I just want to know now if you can sing a song for me." "No." Zhou Waner shook her head decisively. "Why not? Are you afraid I'll go for nothing or something?" "Don't worry, I won't go for nothing." As he spoke, Song Yi took out his money bag. "Song Gongzi." At this moment, Zhou Waner started drinking loudly. "This is definitely not a matter of money, it's just because. Because. At the tip of her tongue, Zhou Waner was unable to speak. Because of what? Song Yi asked. It's nothing. Zhou Waner gave a bitter smile and refused to answer. Her expression became somewhat helpless. Well, since Prince Song wants to listen to Waner sing, then Waner will sing with you. Just ask Prince Song to promise me not to come to this Zuoyin Tower again after listening to my song. Chapter 8. A Song of Exiting the Frontier. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why did you make such a request to me? Song Yi was puzzled. Whether he could come to this Zuoyin Tower or not seemed to have nothing to do with Zhou Waner. Unfortunately, you are the young genius of our great Qin. If you continue to linger in this land of fireworks, even if your talent is high, you will disappear from the crowd. Zhou Waner's tone was very sincere, and it really seemed to be her intention. In Song Yi's eyes, this was somewhat strange. He thought to himself that he had not yet persuaded the prostitute to behave well. Why did the other party instead persuade him? It's just that if something goes wrong, there will always be demons. This week, Waner made such an abnormal request to herself, and the reason behind it is probably not as simple as what the other party said. However, Song Yi didn't intend to ask any more. Instead, he smiled brightly at Zhou Waner and said, Miss Waner, I can agree to your request, but you also have to agree to one. What? Take off your veil and hat, let me see your face. Young master, you have gone too far. Before Zhou Waner could answer, Xiaohe beside her spoke up, Young master, my young lady has set rules and vowed not to take them off even to the death. Xiaohe, it's okay. Since Prince Song wants to see it, I'll let you keep an eye on it. Zhou Waner interrupted Xiaohe after speaking. She raised her hand and took off the veil and hat. A long fair face appeared in front of Song Yi. A face that was exquisitely crafted, especially the bridge of the nose, which was tall and straight, not quite the same as the people of Dechen. But the only downside is, this week, Waner's eyes, one without any white, looked a bit ferocious, and there were even some scars around the eye sockets. I think this is the reason why Zhou Waner wore the veil inside her pocket. However, even so, Zhou Waner can still be considered stunning. It can be said that this is the most beautiful woman Song Yi has ever seen since he came to this world. Young Master Song, have you seen enough? Zhou Waner looked at Song Yi with a clear gaze. That's enough. Song Yi waved his hand lightly. He originally wanted to ask what happened to Waner's eyes next week. However, it seems that this is the first time two people have met, and asking such a question is somewhat abrupt. That's good. Zhou Waner nodded lightly, then put on her veil and hat again, and said, Young Master Song, please come with me into the room now, and Waner will sing for you. No problem. So Song Yi followed Zhou Waner into the room. The maid Xiaohe served Song Yi drinks and pastries, while Zhou Waner stood on the stage, preparing before singing. After preparing, Zhou Waner looked at Song Yi and asked, What does Prince Song want to hear? Just sing what you're good at. Song Yi doesn't know much about the world's musical songs, so for him, he can listen to anything. Moreover, since the other party is a pillar of Zuoyin Tower, I believe that no matter what song they sing, it should be pleasant to listen to. Okay, then I'll sing a song called Exile Song for Prince Song. Zhou Waner nodded lightly, and then the melodious singing came out. The north wind blows, and the sky is covered with snow. We'll be outside, grape wine luminous glass. 1,000 lamp lights, how many loved ones shed tears. The Tian Shan mountains are perilous, and the lonely geese are about to fly south. The pipa rings, and the yellow sand and white city gate rushes. Thousands of miles of rivers and mountains accompanied by these songs. Song Yi's mind came to mind a devastating war outside the Great Wall. Feeling dizzy, I slowly fell asleep, unsure if it was a charming song or a drunken person. After Song Yi left, Song Zhengna was one head and too big. Tell the truth truthfully. How could I possibly truthfully explain it myself? He knows his father's temperament. If my father really knew that Song Yi had gone to Tsueyin Tower again, that Song Yi may really be in danger of losing his life. But right. He is also unwilling to force Song Yi. From childhood to adulthood, he has been quite doting on his younger brother. He never forces his younger brother to do things he doesn't want to do. The matter has come to this point, and I can only conceal it for this kid. I hope I can conceal it. Song Zheng let out a long sigh and had Zhao Pengfei's body disposed of before rushing to the auxiliary city. After passing through the auxiliary city, he was informed that Song Qingxue had taken Gu Qingtian and others to the main city magistrate's office. He had no choice but to turn back to the main city and come to the government office. At this moment, Song Qingxue and Gu Qingtian were drinking tea and chatting in the reception room of the mansion, while Gu Qingxue stood obediently behind Gu Qingtian. After bowing to Gu Qingtian, Song Zheng gritted his head and said to Song Qingxue, "Father, my younger brother may have been too tired last night and is still resting at the moment." Still resting? When has it been? Song Qingxue's face immediately showed displeasure. I mean, even if your younger brother is still resting, can't you drag him off the bed? Do you know that General Gu is waiting for him now? After speaking, he bowed to Gu Qingtian and apologized, "General Gu, it's a child who doesn't understand propriety. I hope you can understand." "It's okay, I happen to have a lot more to say to you." "It's okay to meet this young genius later," Gu Qingtian waved his hand generously. After receiving Gu Qingtian's forgiveness, Song Qingxue glared back at Song Zheng and said, "Why are you still here? Why don't you go and bring your younger brother?" "Okay, I'm going. Song Zheng really has words of suffering. In the current situation, he can only go to Tsueyin Tower to arrest Song Yi and talk about it. However, just as Song Zheng was about to step out of the room, Gu Qingxue walked over and asked, "Brother Song, can I go with you?" "Are you going with me?" "Miss Gu, isn't that too good?" said Song with an embarrassed expression on his face. "What's wrong? Are you worried that I might see your brother's sleeping image?" Gu Qingxue covered her face and chuckled lightly. "Well. Okay." Song Zheng originally intended to continue refusing, but Gu Qingxue's words seemed to have some kind of magic. He wanted to refuse, but couldn't develop the heart of rejection. "If it's a big deal, just ask Miss Gu to help provide some cover." So, Song Zheng took Gu Qingxue out of the government office and walked on the streets of Linjiang Prefecture. Gu Qingxue's curiosity seems to be very strong. Take a look here and there, even those vendors selling vegetables and firewood can be seen for a long time. Song Zheng had no choice but to act as a tour guide and introduce Gu Qingxue. After walking for a while, Gu Qingxue became less interested. She came to Song Zheng's side and asked softly, "Brother Song, do you know why I want to go find your brother with you?" "Why?" "Because I can't wait to see what my future husband looks like." When she said these words, Gu Qingxue smiled shyly. Like a bud waiting to bloom. Touching, heart-stirring. Husband. After hearing Gu Qingxue's words, Song Zheng's head seemed to be struck by lightning. What is this all about? Miss Gu, what do you mean by that? Chapter 9. My father and brother lied to you. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Gu Qingxue stuck out her tongue and explained, "Actually, the main reason why my father and I came to Jiangfu is that my father wants me to be married to your younger brother." This Song Zheng was working hard to adjust his thoughts. He originally thought General Gu was willing to come to the Jiang mansion because the other party valued the friendship with his father. Now it seems that things are not that simple. However, it doesn't matter. It's not normal for Gu Qingtian to be able to achieve the position of a first-class officer without any of his own calculations. But the focus at this point is not that. Now if Miss Gu finds out that her younger brother did not study hard all night, but rather lingered in the flower and willow alley. Isn't their marriage just blown up? When this marriage is blown away, the plan of using the Gu family's power to eliminate the water thieves will become rootless and shadowless. Thinking of this, Song Zheng couldn't help but burst into a cold sweat on his back. He paused and said to Gu Qingxue, Miss Gu, there is a dim sum shop in front of us, which is second to none in Linjiang Mansion. Do you want to go shopping? Dim sum. Gu Qingxue thought a little and then smiled. When I was in the frontier fortress, I heard that the dim sum in Linjiang Mansion was famous all over the world, and the elder brother of the Song family said that it was second to none, so I naturally had to go and see it. Okay, I'll take you over now. Song Zheng is slightly relieved and takes Gu Qingxue to the dim sum shop, he said. After arriving at the dim sum shop, Song Zheng tried his best to introduce and recommend Gu Qingxue. But after a while, he covered his stomach and apologetically said, Miss Gu, I suddenly have some stomach pain and need to go to the restroom. Why don't you wait for me here for a while? Well, okay. Gu Qingxue nods while eating dim sum, watching Song Zheng leave the dim sum shop. Song Zheng, who left the dim sum shop, immediately went to the Tsueyin building as fast as he could. After some inquiry, I found out the room where Song Yi was located. The matter is urgent, and he can't care too much. Directly lifting his foot, with a loud bang, the door turned into powder. He rushed into the room, intending to take away Song Yi, who was still immersed in Zhou Waner singing, but in the end, his gaze fell on Zhou Waner. He hesitated for a moment and bowed to Zhou Waner, Miss Waner, I didn't expect us to meet again so soon. Yeah, we met again. Zhou Waner chuckled lightly, Brother Song, you're so anxious and flustered. Did you come to take your younger brother home? Yeah. Song Jingyan glanced at Song Yi and asked, Miss Waner, my younger brother hasn't done anything excessive to you, has he? No, Zhou Waner shook her head gently. In my eyes, your younger brother is just a child. Yeah, he's just a little kid. Song Zheng's eyes showed a hint of indulgence, since that's the case, I won't disturb Miss Waner. I'll take my younger brother away now. After finishing speaking, he bowed to Zhou Waner again, then turned around and walked to Song Yi's side. He raised his hand and gently patted his shoulder, calling out, Song Yi, don't sleep, we should go now. With Song Zheng's call, Song Yi slowly woke up. He rubbed his sleepy eyes and looked at Song Zheng in front of him, feeling a bit puzzled. Brother, why are you here? Are you also here to drink flower wine? I'll drink your head. Song Zheng spat and cursed directly, it's burning my brows. If you still want to drink flower wine, quickly wipe the corner of your mouth and come with me to see your future wife. By the way, the wife I'm talking about is General Gu's daughter. Oh. Song Yi gave a faint response, with no change in his expression. The development of the matter is as expected. But when Song Zheng saw Song Yi's reaction, he was somewhat dissatisfied. What's your reaction, kid? You're about to have a wife, and her background is so extraordinary. Is that your reaction? Brother, you don't have to be so excited. Song Yi shrugged and said, I won't agree to this marriage. Do you disagree? Upon hearing this, Song Zheng widened his eyes and said, I'm talking about Song Yi. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you know that if you marry Miss Gu, you won't have to take a detour for at least 10 years? Your future achievements will definitely far exceed those of your father. This is your extraordinary wealth, you. How could you disagree? Can you tell me why this is? Why else, isn't it because that woman would harm our entire family? However, Song Yi naturally cannot explain this reason to Song Zheng. Even if said, Song Zheng would still feel that this is a fantasy. Brother, don't worry about the reason. You just need to go back and tell my father directly about my thoughts. After speaking, Song Yi stared with both feet, put on a lazy posture, picked up his glass of wine, and started drinking on his own. Looking at Song Yi's appearance, Song Zheng remained angry and a wave of anger rose in his heart. He clenched his fists, and if possible, he even wanted to punch Song Yi. But the other party is their own brother. Even if he gets angry, he will never be able to take this action. At this moment, a figure stepped into the room. After seeing this figure, Song Zheng's body couldn't help but tremble for a moment, and his words became hesitant. Gu. Miss Gu, how did you come here? Yes, the person who came is Gu Qingxue. Me. Of course I came with you, brother Song. Gu Qingxue's face still wore a faint smile, but this smile was far from as warm as before. As she spoke, she had already walked up to Song Yi, her gaze wandering and looking at him. Similarly, Song Yi was also observing her. How to say, she is truly the protagonist of the novel. She looks truly stunning and unparalleled in beauty. Compared to the Zhou Waner I just saw, she is slightly better. But because of the novel filter, Song Yi had no feelings for the woman in front of him. Gu Qingxue is also very confident in her appearance, and there has never been a man who doesn't react to her appearance. But the man in front of me happened to. She was slightly annoyed and asked, "Are you Song Yi? That legendary young genius? That existence with the potential to surpass the saint of books?" I don't know if I have surpassed the title of book saint, but my surname is indeed Song Mingming. Do you know who I am? Gu Qingxue. You know I'm good. Gu Qingxue took a slight breath and continued, your father and brother all said you studied hard all night for Qingxue and are currently resting. But why are you in this land of flowers and willows now? Can you give me a reasonable explanation? Explain. Explain that my father and brother lied to you. Song Yi said calmly. Chapter 10. Ideals and Reality. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Song Yi's frank answer surprised Gu Qingxue. She was originally thinking about what kind of lies the young genius in front of her would fabricate to deceive herself. Unexpectedly, there was also Song Zheng. He hurriedly walked up to Gu Qingxue and waved his hand, saying, Miss Gu, don't listen to my brother's nonsense. He was indeed resting at home just now. Really? How do you explain your brother's appearance in the brothel, brother Song? Well. Song Zheng scratched his head and said, come here to eat. Miss Gu, you don't know. This Tsuiyan Tower is not just a brothel, but the food here is also first class. Enough, brother. There's really no need to deceive Miss Gu like this. Song Yi interrupted Song Zheng's rambling. Miss Gu is not a fool. Saying these words will only make us appear incredibly foolish. At this point, Song Yi shifted his gaze to Gu Qingxue and continued, Miss Gu, I believe you're asking this question just to know what kind of person I am. I can honestly tell you that I am no different from most aristocratic playboys in your family. My biggest hobby is to linger in these places of smoke and willows. Song Gongzi is actually honest. Gu Qingxue twitched at the corner of her mouth, but still maintained a smile. But in fact, at this moment, her heart was already very uncomfortable. Before coming to Jiangfu, she actually had considerable expectations for this nationally renowned young genius. Thinking that the other party should be a handsome young man with a scholarly aura. He is the kind of ideal husband he expects. It can be imagined to be very plump, but reality is very bony. Getting married to someone like this is definitely not something that even 100 people would want to do. My husband must not be such a person. Well, Song Gongzi, you had a great time. After saying these words, Gu Qingxue turned around and left the room. Meanwhile, Song Zheng saw Gu Qingxue leave and was so anxious that his face and ears turned red. He gritted his teeth and pointed at Song Yi, saying, Song Yi, you have really caused a big trouble now. After speaking, he chased after him. As Song Yi watched his brother leave, he let out a long sigh of relief and sat back in his seat, feeling relieved. So, my plan should be considered successful, right? The biggest crisis that came to this world should be considered resolved, right? Next, all I need to do is use the initial practice left by Guo Cheng to embark on the path of cultivation, and then let birds fly freely in the sky. As Song Yi was daydreaming, Zhou Waner walked up to him and whispered, "Young Master Song, Waner has already finished singing the song, so it's time for you to leave." "Ah." Song Yi scratched his head and showed a dissatisfied smile. "Miss Waner, can I listen to another song?" "Cannot. If you don't sing, I will tear up our previous agreement, and I will continue to come to Qingxue Tower to drink flower wine. I will pester you every day." "No, you won't." Zhou Waner shook her head and said, "Your goal has been achieved. From now on, there will be no more of you in Qingxue Tower." Upon hearing Zhou Waner's words, Song Yi couldn't help but be taken aback. "Miss Waner, what do you mean by that?" "You know what I mean in your heart." Song Yi. At this moment, he had a new understanding of Waner this week. She not only sang well, but also had many secrets, and was very intelligent. Should I say it or not? This woman successfully caught his attention. "What if I want to see you?" Song Yi asked. "We will meet by chance." Destiny. Song Yi savored these two words carefully, and after a while, he grinned and said, "Then it's fate to meet again." After Qingxue left Qingxue Tower, Song Yi's words lingered in her mind. Why? Why are you such a person like Song Yi? The huge gap between imagination and reality made her feel angry. Just as she shouted silently, Song Jing caught up. He said sincerely, "Miss Gu, believe me, my younger brother is not actually that kind of person." He. Qingxue sneered and said, "Brother Song, your younger brother has admitted it himself, and I have seen it with my own eyes. Why are you still trying to argue for him? Brother Song, I advise you to say a few words less. As your younger brother just said, your words will only make you appear very foolish. Say it." She quickened her pace. Looking at Qingxue's back, Song Zheng was really going crazy. "Forget it, let's do whatever we love." Finally, he spread out his hands and directly chose to put it apart. After Qingxue returned to the Linjiang Prefecture office, she rushed directly into the reception hall and interrupted Song Qingxue and Qingtian, who were still chatting over tea. "Father, there's no need for us to marry the Song family." Qingxue's words left Song Qingxue and Qingtian both stunned. "What do you mean by this, niece Gu?" Song Qingxue asked hastily. Qingxue raised her eyebrows and said, "Governor of Song, your son is just like that. I absolutely can't get married." Song Qingxue squinted slightly and said, "Did the dog offend you?" "I didn't offend you, it's just that your son's description is vastly different from yours. Although he is a playboy wandering in the land of flowers and willows, he has been described by you as a hardworking and ambitious young master." Song Qingxue. He couldn't refute Qingxue's argument. Because he himself knows that his son has indeed changed a lot in these 2 months. He lowered his head in shame and said, "My niece Gu, I really have no way to teach my son. But please rest assured, niece Gu. From now on, I will definitely discipline my dog strictly. I hope you give him a chance." "No need," Qingxue shook her head firmly. "Your words, Song Fuyin, lack any credibility. I don't believe you, and at the same time, I don't believe your son can change. So, let's call it a day." After speaking, she walked up to Qingtian and said, "Dad, let's leave now and leave Linjiang Prefecture." "Don't worry." At this moment, Qingtian waved his hand and said, "Qingxue, please tell me what exactly happened first." "Just." Qingxue told Qingtian in detail about what had just happened. And in conclusion, he said, "Dad, I don't think everyone in the Song family is a good thing. Light snow." Upon hearing these words, Gu Qingtian suddenly said in a deep voice, Qingxue has been my friend for many years, you can't say that. But there's nothing wrong with it. Gu Qingtian glared at Gu Qingxue and then shifted his gaze to Song Qingxue, asking, Old Song, are you really confident in bringing your son back to the right path? Upon hearing Gu Qingtian's words, Song Qingxue was moved. Is there a turning point in this matter?